everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Real Estate Talk Today. My name is Jeffrey Infante, and today we have my partner here, Jenny Clemens, and we have a special guest today that's going to talk about a little about her experience. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce her, Stefania Diaz.
Yes, Stefania Diaz, and I'm a realtor with Century 21, the Visionary Group.
Nice. Stefania, so we wanted to ask you a series of questions just so the people who are out there that are listening and maybe those that are wanting to become a realtor or maybe thinking about it, right? Just to kind of sense, because everyone has a different experience, right? And I don't think no experience is alike. What inspired you to say one day, I'm going to become a realtor, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to push myself to do this?
Well, there were several factors of why I wanted to become a realtor. One of them was how challenging it is as well. Not every one day is the same in real estate, and I like that. You know, you never know what to expect. There's also no cap in what you can make. There's no cap in, you know, the things that you can do to advance your business. You can be creative in it. You can be, there's just so many things that you can put in your own person and personality into your business.
Right, awesome. So, yeah, definitely right. I mean, being in this business, you're definitely right. It is a challenge, right? And I think with anything in life is a challenge, right? And I always say is the way you look at things would definitely change the outcome of the situation, right? So any challenges, whether good or bad, right? If you look at it in a negative way, then that's the way it's going to affect you, and emotionally it's going to affect you in a negative way. But if you say, it's there, right? But there's a better light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to push through this. I'm going to make it happen. Then the outcome just drastically changes.
Right.
Yeah. But another thing, I'm assuming, because you had said something about your mom too, being in real estate, right? Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So my mom, actually both of my parents for a while, well, my mom mostly has been in real estate for 17 years now, down in Texas. So
yeehaw.
I know. I was around 11, 12 when they both started the business, and it was very different back then than it is now, you know? So I like that I get to see the difference in even prospecting and stuff like that. Like I would see my dad go out and prospect, and my mom would kind of be the back end of it. So they worked as a team together doing it.
Nice.
So now she still hasn't lost the passion for it, you know? And awesome. And I like that she's always willing to learn. She's always like, oh, I have a class. Like, you know what I mean? And I like that. So it keeps her motivated. So it's just been nice to see things transform. And it's also just been nice to grow up in the environment. So sometimes things that I learn now, I'm like, I remember my mom doing this, you know? Or sometimes if I have to bring my son to a showing real quick, I'm like, I used to sit in the car as well. Like, it's kind of cool, you know, giving them that familiar.
Yeah, because you have your son, and your son is 12 years old, right?
Yeah, he's 12 years old.
So he's 12 now, and you was 12 when your mom started. So it's kind of now you're like,
it's transitioning
like,
over.
It's like a circle of life kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So as a child, right? And I can say this because you went through it, right? What was like I'm sure, have you gone through with showings with your mom? I mean, she brought. So what was that like? Like, would you bored or like, oh gosh, another show?
I felt special. You know, you feel special because you get to go to a house that's empty. Like you get to see the houses on the inside, and you know, see how different that house is to the other house. And but also the other thing that I really loved is, since I grew up with a lot of activities, you know, figure skating and dance and all that stuff, my mom was able to be present. So real estate gives you that freedom, you know what I mean, to make your business how you want as well, and surround it by your lifestyle versus surrounding your lifestyle by your business kind of thing. I loved that. I loved my mom being present for all the things because she was able to do that with her business.
Wow. I remember, you know, as you talking about that, something just came to me. I remember when I first started real estate, I went to do a showing. It was it was a REO property. It was a foreclosure property, and the client were supposed to be at a certain time. I got there a little earlier, And he came up late. Like, I kept calling him, like, hey, are you coming? He's like, yeah, I'm on my way. I caught traffic, whatever the case is. And I remember I was with my child, my kids, and the little one, he was like 2 years old, I remember, 3, but he was like, he was getting impatient. He was in the car, maybe 2, 3 years old, right? He's like, and then, so I let him out, so he can just like run around a little bit and just play in the front or whatever while I waited for my client. And then he goes, Daddy, I gotta go pee-pee. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't leave. I'm like, there's nothing nearby I can go to. And I'm like, the house was like a half-hour drive back. So I'm like, I can't go home. He's like, I gotta go pee-pee. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do, right? So that he just ran to the corner of the house and he just whipped it out. She was like, oh my gosh. I was like, what an experience. But but these are things that you look at back now, and it's just like, the things that we go through, as parents, right?
Yeah.
With children coming in on board. But I wanted to share that because I thought it was funny, because you have your child now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's 12. He won't go and pee in front of.
Well, my son is trained. He go behind the bushes.
At least.
Yeah, he
Oh,
does.
I didn't think of that. I should
Yeah,
have brought a biscuit. Hey, go behind the bushes.
He have done that plenty of times.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
We gotta do what we gotta do, right?
I know, that's true. So now, as a realtor, so talk to me about your experience, because I know we all had that first time, right? We went out there with that buyer. What was that experience with that buyer initially when you went to show that first house? What was that like?
It was surreal for me. It really was. I had a moment of, wow, I'm here. Like, because it is hard getting into it, that test,
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like that. There's points where you're like, wow, like, you're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not I've made it, but it's
Right.
like, you're here. Like, yeah,
Right.
you're here.
Hands on.
The other thing that I really loved about my first was being bilingual. That's important to me, because you can see how you being able to speak their language, the connection that you get, versus having that barrier a little bit. I loved that as well.
Nice. So when you got to the closing table, what was that feeling like?
Again, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like it was a nice process. It was a lot of learning and things like that. And I loved seeing their reaction. Like, wow, we did this. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
We got here
We could do
with
this.
my help. You know what I mean? Like, we did this together, and yeah.
It's exciting
It
being
is.
able to help other people accomplish their dreams, right? So when you actually see that, you're like, oh my God, thank God, like
Yeah.
I was able to help, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Yeah,
It's big.
and I can relate to that, because I mean, a lot of folks have this misconception where they feel that the home buying process is difficult.
So out of reach.
It's like they don't even think about it. Like, oh no, I can't do it. But with a little bit of knowledge and just speaking to a realtor and just putting a few things together, it's possible. I remember having phone conversations with families that never thought that they can own a home. But it's that thought that limits you, right? And as soon as they realized and they broke out of that thought, today they're homeowners. And they're happy, right? And now their property has gained equity within the years.
Right.
So if they want to sell, they can sell their property if they wanted to and cash out, right? Because I look at property like a big piggy bank.
Monopoly.
That's
true.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
How many piggy banks can you get? I want all of them.
And how fat can you make them?
Keep batting on it. That's
Yeah.
great. So one of the other things is, I mean, I love reading books, and I'm always curious to know what has been a book that you have read that has been an inspiration to you.
That would have to be Mel Robbins' The 5-Second Rule.
Nice. What would be one nugget that you would grab out of it, like from the book that you read?
Which is the main like subject of the book is there's a certain time frame in your brain that your decision can go either way.
Right.
And it's about choosing, obviously, you're going to get past that fear and past that uncertainty, and you count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just do it. And it's made me get out of a lot of like, not got out of a lot of uncomfortable situations, but just made me, you know what, just do it.
Right.
Making some calls, you know, doing the things that are going to make me feel uncomfortable. You just count.
5, 4,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And just go.
And it could be simple, silly things. Like I went to Cancun for my honeymoon and jumping off a 14 feet cliff with no life jacket, no nothing.
I don't know about that.
I gotta count 10, 9, 8.
I literally, it went in my head. I was like, you know what? Just count backwards. 5, and I did it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And like in the middle of in the middle of falling, I was like, why did I just do that? But it was so worth it. It was so fun.
Right.
I don't know.
My husband was like, absolutely not. You got that. But it was the 5-second rule works for literally everything and anything.
Awesome. Yeah.
When you just don't feel like doing something,
Just
you
do
know
it,
what?
yeah.
5, 4, 3,
Backwards.
2, 1. Let's get this workout done.
Stephanie,
Right?
that's crazy. I don't know if I'll ever do that.
Maybe
Just thinking about it gets me nervous. I'm already shaking.
Maybe not the cliff, but like a workout, right?
No, definitely.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get up and work out.
Getting out of bed.
Yes.
Getting out of bed. I had
Simply-
used that getting out of bed because it's like at 5:30 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, who wants to do that?
I do not want to get up, but I gotta
Well, that was
psych
Mel's
my-
Robbins story.
Yeah.
You know, she was in bed and
Depressed.
she's depressed.
Anxiety.
And she was drinking. She was an alcoholic, right? I think her drink was the Manhattan. I think it was her drink, right, from the book, because I read the book. And then she was just going through the everyday life, just waking up and
The rat race.
the rat race, right? And then one day she stood in front of a screen and she saw a rocket ship taking
rocket
off,
ship
and she
taking
saw the countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I gotta read it.
Yeah.
Right, and she saw that fuel just like bursting up, and then it just clicked to her, and then she's like, "That's it. I'm just gonna count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it.
Yeah.
That's it." And she became a great success just out of a little clip she saw on TV, and it's changed her whole life.
Yeah.
And I think she was a part of ABC. I think I don't know. She had like a gig there, and they let her go. And I saw her video a few weeks ago how they invited her to go there and do a speech for the company.
Wow.
And then she's like, "Can you believe that this company right here fired me, let
now
me
look at-
go,
and
and now they're calling me
Wow.
up?" Like, you know.
That's what's up.
So, you know, and then it just speaks something, right?
Right.
That we all have greatness within us, right? And those that are listening, you all have greatness as well. And nothing is too difficult. I think the difficult comes in when you put it in your head and you say
Right.
it's difficult, and then you defeat yourself.
It's getting out of your own way.
Right, right. So, you know, break that barrier, right? Become familiar with the uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable, right? Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's
Do
do
it.
it.
Like jumping off that cliff. That's an uncomfortable situation
So
for me.
uncomfortable.
I think it's easier to buy a house, guys, than jumping off a cliff,
think so,
honestly.
too.
But
I think so too. No, I don't think so. I know so.
so think of that. Either jump off a cliff or buy a house. Which one, guys?
I'll buy 10.
Yeah. But you know, that's in my bucket list to go parachuting, but I'm
no.
still.
But you know
can't
what?
do
It has to do with the innocence too. And I think that came with me, like there was 2 kids in front of me that was just didn't even think about it, and they just
Just did
jumped.
it. Oh my
and I was
gosh.
like, if
They have no fear.
They have no fear. And it's like,
Yeah.
I need that again. You know what I
Right,
mean? To
yeah.
do the hard things, they're just like, whatever.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
know? But it's grabbing that innocence again, like when you were a little child and you
goodness.
don't have that fear. To have that ease to be able to apply it to your business too.
Yeah.
Like, let's just think about it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was very afraid of roller coasters. I've been to Six Flags in Jersey, the big one, right, where they have like a whole bunch of major big roller coasters, and I was so afraid of it, and I would not touch a roller coaster. I would not look at it, and then one day there was this young kid in front of my cousin was like, "Okay, we're gonna do it." I'm like, okay. So I'm like nervous and like I'm looking up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hear the people screaming, and I'm like, this is too much. And then this little kid was in front of me, And he was so excited. He was like, I can't wait. I'm gonna. And he's just like, oh, like, couldn't wait to get in there. And I'm like, wait a minute. If this little guy is gonna do it, I'm like 2 times as big as him, right? But a lot older. I'm like, what am I afraid of? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Well, they also say that you kind of confuse your fear with excitement. So if you're kind of scared of something or getting anxiety of something, like making a phone call in real estate or, you know, doing something that you haven't done before, you just have to tell yourself, I'm excited to do this. Change your mindset in that, you know what I mean? I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to make this phone call and learn something. I'm excited to do this instead of I'm scared or...
Yeah,
you know
that's awesome. Yeah,
just switch
that's
it.
true.
Yeah.
As I said, the way you look at things changes the outcome of the whole scenario. Wow, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
No.
Thank you
so
this
much,
was great.
Stephanie.
This was awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you guys
Stephanie,
for having me.
Yeah, this was great. A lot of insight, a lot of greatness. That's awesome. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the show today. Again, my name is Jeff Infante with Real Estate Talk today, and with Jenny Clements here. Until next time, take care.
Bye.